Joining us now to debate the tax breaks, some other aspects of the newly passed budget bill, to bring in Harvard professor Jason Furman. He's former CEA chair in the Obama administration, and Kevin Brady, former chair of the House Ways and Means Committee. He's an architect of the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act. He's now a spokesperson for the Alliance for Competitive Taxation. Your name is Kevin. As far as I know, you're not being considered for Fed head, Fed chief. Are you, Kevin? You don't know,
not to
maybe.
my knowledge. Not to my knowledge.
All right. Before I ask, Kevin was an architect, Jason, of the 2017 tax cuts. So before I start, trying to get an argument started, did you think that those should be extended in this most recent bill, Jason? Because I can get a debate started if you think they should have been allowed to lapse.
So I think the permanent parts of that law were really thoughtful and well done. The corporate rate needed to be cut. A lot of the other things done with the tax base, I think, were really quite smart and quite good. But no, I don't think we could afford to extend the individual provisions. That's why they were temporary. They were a lower priority. They were less important for economic growth, for simplification. And I would have rather seen them replaced with a new tax reform rather than just extended and put on the debt.
Could that have been done, Kevin Brady?
Well, actually, I think Jason's right in the sense that we locked in the most pro-growth parts of redesigning a completely obsolete tax code. But what we left to be sunset were the most bipartisan parts of the bill, which was the middle-class tax cuts, those new Main Street 20% historic tax deduction for Main Street businesses, and the child tax credit, believing that whoever was running government at the time would feel like those are valuable tax breaks to continue.
Jason, sometimes I think, Willie Sutton is where the money is. If you're going to cut taxes, a lot of it's going to accrue to the people that pay taxes. There's just no way around that. But I guess Democrats would argue that it was skewed to wealthier people. While everyone did get a tax break in 2017, and everyone would have gotten a tax hike if we let them expire, are you still saying that a disproportionate share benefits wealthier taxpayers?
Look, there was stuff at the high end, expanding and making permanent estate tax relief. I don't think we need the top rate to be 37. I think it could have gone back to 39.6. I think Donald Trump himself had floated that idea.
He did.
But you look at the bill as a whole, and frankly, my concern about lack of balance isn't what was written into the tax side. My concern there is the really dramatic cuts to Medicaid, rolling back other parts of the social safety net. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that'll increase the number of uninsured by 12 million people. And by the way, those costs will spill over to many others in the form of higher health costs, higher health insurance premiums, and the like. So it's that low end cuts that I found.
Jason, would you concede though that Medicaid wasn't really designed for what it was being used for? And while it is coverage, it's not the most cost-effective way to cover people. It does sometimes unfairly advantage people that, not pregnant women and disabled people, but, able-bodied individuals that just aren't even out looking for jobs. The other thing to ask you, if it's a 20% hike in Medicaid spending over the next 10 years, but not a 30% hike, do you really call that a cut?
On the cost effective, it actually is quite cost effective because it pays providers so little. If you wanted to have a conversation, Joe, about how to repeal and replace it with something else, I'd be all for having that conversation and be happy to be a part of it. That's not what this was. And work requirements, I wouldn't do them for health. We have a basic philosophical idea that we're not going to leave someone on the street in front of a hospital and not pay for that treatment. If that's your philosophical treatment,
they get treated. We know they get treated. No one gets turned down.
That's why I think you don't want. That's why I think you want to be honest about it. Pay the cost up front. Give them insurance. And the experiments we've done on work requirements in Medicaid, for better or worse,
Kevin,